Hello everybody, hello again. This is Javier Rollón from your Rollón Planes, and today I'm going to stop in the project of the CRJ 200 because I need Philip to do some things. Once I have the things that Philip gave me, then I can continue with the night illumination, etc, etc, etc. Buenos días, Fernando Oliveros. Today we are going to talk about programming. Well, programming, it's... With programming you can do almost everything. Even if you don't know how to make graphics, you could do a game. Or... I don't know. First of all, I want to say is I'm not a programmer. I don't know almost anything. I just know logic, a little of logic, because when I was in the university I was studying it, but it's very simple, logic also. I started programming in Turbo Pascal, made something of buenas, José Ledesma. Made something of JavaScript, but it's not programming, but it was logic, and nothing more. But I'm very curious. And wait a moment, I have to do something here first. What I know is that when I want to do something, I succeed with that because I'm very stubborn, you know. Cabezón. So when I was working in the CRJ, I had a programmer that now is not with us, and he taught me several things that I copied and I implemented my way, and I made it. Because in C++ I made a course online and I knew a little things, but very little, very little. Maybe I scratched a 0.0001 of all the C++. I've been working with programmers when I was in game industry, and what I can say about programming is that they don't want to know us what they do. They don't want to know us what they do. Programming is yes, there are academies that you can teach programming, there are universities that you can teach programming, but it's very complicated. It's very complicated, not the logic. The logic is simple. Well, it's simple. It's if you do that, then that, you change that. It's very simple, that. Pablo de Porto, ¿qué tal? But the problem is the compilers. To set up them, to make them working, and they give you errors that you don't know where they come from. But thankfully we have internet, and searching and searching and searching, you can be hours and hours and hours until you find the solution. And the solution is not easy, and the solution is not simple. It's not intuitive. Programming is not intuitive. It's not at all. Even the things I have programmed two planes for myself. One is the Turbo Mentor, and the other is the Jetstream. Those programmings I made them into Visual Studio. Visual Studio C++ 2010. It's free. You can subscribe, and they are free for students and even for little works like that, because they are not professional. And I was a seed to make the plugins, and I was a seed in succeed in the most important one was for me was the Jetstream 32, that I had almost 5,000 lines of code, that it was no easy to do, but it was repetitive. There were simple things to do, but there was repetitive. Now that was in an old computer I have. Now I wanted to carry all those things to my new computer, almost 4 years computer, and I wanted to install Visual Studio. And when you go to Visual Studio, that is here, you can do it. Okay, you can do it. If you have a space, you can do it. Ah, by the way, great news about the new seven planets. We can go there one day. You and your sons and your grandsons won't see it unless there is a rocket or something that is flying above the speed of light. Okay, JetStream is compatible con el... JetStream is not compatible still with XPlane 11, but I made it compatible already, but I didn't release it, Martín Duarte. Es más sólido que una piedra, pero no perdona ningún error compilar. Me parece curioso que se use C++. Pues Miguel Delgado, me vas a ayudar. Es la razón por la que hago esto, porque también vosotros me vais a ayudar. Also, okay, when you search here Visual Studio, bueno, primeramente diré que no soy programador, o sea que vosotros seguramente me ayudaréis en muchas cosas. Okay, Visual Studio, when you go for this, because you want to have the express, because if you look for the Visual Studio, well, I recommend you directly to find this one. Okay, you try to find this one, and that's all. Okay. Well, wait a moment, because it's 2017. It's going to be released, but it's release candidate, so I wouldn't install it. In case of that, there is no 16. I think there is a 15 only. So you go here and you just select this one, okay, or this one. You download it. It's going to be little. You say, oh wow, very little. Then you start installing, and it's 11 gigabytes of things. It's 11 gigabytes of things that you don't need it, but they are there and they are very good. Okay, those things that you install, they are good because in other compilers you don't have it and you have to find them. So Visual Studio is great for starting, but I don't have enough space in my computer, and it's incredible how you have to uninstall it. So I totally say no to Visual Studio, even if it's very good. If it's very good, and you can have when you download it here, you will see it will download it. You see, start here to download these things. That is very simple. When you execute it, it will start downloading online the things that you have to start downloading, and it's huge, 11 gigabytes. Okay. I don't understand it, how it can be so much, but there are all the libraries, all the things, all the blah 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 blah. Okay, for us, for making plugins for XPlane, we don't need it, but if you want it, there it is, and you more or less you can succeed in compiling it, because there is one video of how to make plugins. See, here it is. I'm going to change Vimeo XPlane Visual Studio. This is a video that a person 7 years ago made to make plugins.
Hello everybody, this is Joe here speaking. I'm going by
16 minutes video how to make the things to compile a configure. I didn't see this when I was making my plugin, because I didn't see this. It would be very interesting and very helpful, because they solve a lot of things. But from this video I've been able to configure Codeblocks, more or less. And this is the only video you will see about XPlane plugins with Visual Studio or blah 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 blah. There is another video, old one also, that explains something more or less, but nothing more. Tranquilo, Miguel Delgado, vamos a ir viendo poco a poco. So, what happened? You start downloading this thing and 11 gigabytes. No, I don't want that. Okay, so what I did, I installed Codeblocks for two reasons. The first reason, because it's lower in the amount of memory it has to it's needed for installing. Okay, and second, because it's cross-platform. This means that it works for Linux and Mac, but I don't know. This is still, I don't know it. Okay, I don't know if you have to use a Macintosh and, I suppose, yes, and Linux, and install this one and install it over there. I think yes, because when you go to downloads, you have here the Linux and, I suppose, the Macintosh. But the good thing is that when you install it, the code, I think it should be the same, work well in all the platforms, so that it would good. It would be incredible if Codeblocks just would compile the plugin in Windows, for example, for Mac and Linux, but I don't think so. Okay, so I downloaded this one. So you download this one from SoundForge or this one, okay, and you install it. Easy. I'm not going to show it because it's easy. Yes, you have to download it from here or from here. This one, this version, in Windows, or if you are in Macintosh, this one, or you are in Linux, this one. I don't know, the version of Linux or whatever. Repeat, I'm not a programmer. Okay, so I'm going to make mistakes, a lot of things, but this maybe it's useful for another person and even for me, because when I return after years, I don't know what I did. So once you install it, you execute it, and you have this. That's right. You have this. And this is to start installing and working, and you say, oh my god, well, how do I start with this? Okay. The problem is there is no videos until now. Okay, with my bad English, I try to speak in English because there are people that maybe want to know how this is done. So I'm trying to speak in English the most I can. Sorry about the Spanish people that are here right now with me, 12 people. But it's okay. For example, Miguel Delgado says that he's programmer, he's C++, he's going to teach me a lot of things. Truly, Miguel, me vas a enseñar muchas cosas. It's telling me that maybe I should install C++ dev. Is simple, is little weight, and is for programming, very basic programming. That is what I do. Very basic programming. What I do is is lower than my level of English. Okay, so it's lower than when a baby start speaking a language. Is in the maybe I have the knowledge of C++ of 2 months baby or something like that. Okay, so ba. Okay, so but I'm using Codeblocks because even if I would use C++ dev, then I would need to configure it. So all people are going. I'm going to help you in the videos, and you are going to help me doing the things, but little by little. Okay, I know that I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, but little by little, because I'm reading it and it's very difficult. He says, for example, Miguel Delgado, ¿qué algoritmo necesitas? ¿Cuál es tu objetivo que quieres que funcione en tu avión? Little by little. For now, I want to configure. This video is only going to be to configure. You hear there is no music because I don't want YouTube to block this video in the future, because I want to be free for everyone, see in everyone. After that, we will close it. If we are succeed in this configuration, we will close it, and I will add a little plugin for the CRJ200 with a creation of a data ref. Okay. So we will see an example. Okay, now we have this thing. We need to program for something. And when you want to program for something, you have to have the SDK. The SDK is a number of things you have for making things for that thing. For example, for XPlane, we have an SDK that has programs inside that may possible program for XPlane. Okay, so for example, in my case, the knowledge of programming that I know, I don't know graphical programming, I don't know physics programming or things like that. The only thing I know in XPlane, and it's a lot for me, it's programming data refs. When you have a plane, you have the data refs that are inside, and if you follow it, the videos of the CRJ200 V2, you will see that I put a lot of some data refs were sim slash blah 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 copy to slash blah 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 blah. All that start with sim are inside of XPlane, but then I used also another ones that it was starting with CRJ slash blah blah blah. Those are data refs that were not existing, so I had to create them. And how do I create them? With programming. Okay, so when I need something, for example, to open the door, okay, or to I don't know, to the guards, to open the guards that covers a button, some buttons. There are no data refs that do those things in XPlane. You can use one of them. For example, I used in the past the weapons. There are some data refs that are called sim slash weapon bracket X, Y, or Z, and that are from 0 to 24. So they have a lot of data refs, float ones that I can use for those things. But now I think they are going to remove them, so I have to modify them. Espera un momento, yo solo les que te vas a dar cuenta que yo de programación muy poquito. Y de hecho voy a aprender con vosotros. Muchos programadores que hay aquí me vais a enseñar muchas cosas y lo voy a agradecer mogollón y todo lo vamos a agradecer mogollón. I'm going to explain something in Spanish, ¿ok? Bueno, señores, it's little, ok. Lo que quiero hacer es, para que os enteréis más o menos, es enseñar lo que yo sé que es una mierda, pero una mierda pinchado en un palo, ¿sabes? Que es como un niño de 2 años que está haciendo gugutata en programación, aplicarlo a la programación en XPlane. Existen 2 vídeos, ¿vale? 2 vídeos. Los programadores no quieren que aprendamos cómo se programa. Es que no quieren. Es que es intuitivo negativo a la... Vamos, un 0 seguido de 0, 0, 0. Bueno, es o una elevación de 10 elevado a la quinta millones de potencia negativo. O sea, es que no quieren que aprendamos nada. Es intuitivo 0 el patatero. O sea, no hay nada intuitivo en esto. Nada. Te vas a encontrar errores. Te vas a encontrar, sobre todo en C++, no, pero como dice Miguel Delgado, no perdonan los errores. Tienes que buscarlos, tienes que pelearte. Es súper engorroso. Entonces, yo veo que este vídeo es súper necesario para aquel que quiera adentrarse en los plugins. Siempre está preguntando, ¿cómo coño se hacen plugins? Nadie me lo sabía explicar. Entonces, estuve trabajando en el CRJ con una persona que me enseñó un poquito, un ejemplo de un plugin. Y a partir de ese retal, he podido hacer una programación chapuza, sin dividir, sin enlazar a otros códigos, todo en un código main, en un código de 4.000, casi 5.000 líneas, el JetStream 32, que funcione, que no tenga pérdidas de memoria, que yo es que estaba acojonado. Entonces, voy a enseñaros a hacer eso. Luego voy a aprender de vosotros, porque vosotros vais, si queréis, vais a decirme, no, eso mejor así, se corrige así, y tal y cual. De hecho, intentaré ir a Discord y que me lo expliquéis, porque evidentemente explicándolo por aquí es una mierda. Entonces tendré preparado el Discord en algún momento para que me expliquéis ciertas cosas. Por ahora lo que voy a explicar es cómo configurar el Codeblocks en este caso, que he dicho que utilizaba el Visual Basic. El Visual Basic te instala 11 gigas. En el Visual Basic Express del 2010 te instalaba mucho menos. Pero en este instala 11 gigas, que no sé de dónde coño salen las 11 gigas. Supongo que de librerías que utilizarás, que luego no tendrás que buscar, etcétera, etcétera. Porque yo, por ejemplo, con el Codeblocks estoy teniendo problemas. Tengo que buscarme las librerías para instalarlas, ¿vale? Pero ocupa mucho menos, y por lo menos instalar lo que tú quieres instalar, aunque es mucho más engorroso. Vale. He estado estos 2 días, he estado oculto, bueno, he estado honesto, porque en el CRJ200 se necesita que se hagan ciertas cosas. Entonces he dicho, me tengo que poner con la programación sí o sí, porque puede que lo necesite en un futuro. Y lo tenía en la programación en otro lado, en Visual BC, en Visual C++, en Microsoft Visual. Entonces, lo estoy transportando a Codeblocks. Y he logrado compilar el plugin del Mentor. No el de JetStream, porque tiene fallos, porque entre compiladores existen divergencias. Y yo no sé las divergencias que son. Entonces, cuando ya te saltan los errores del propio compilador, empiezan los errores del propio programa, para convertirlos de uno a otro. Y he logrado, que era un programa muy cortito, ¿vale?, convertir, y lo he probado esta mañana, y pega un salto de alegría, porque es que de verdad es para pegar un salto de alegría, porque es como luchar en la guerra de Vietnam, contra todas las zarzas que te puedas meter y avanzar, pero lentísimo. Entonces, lo que yo tengo es la lógica. La lógica es lo principal de la programación. Eso lo tenéis que aprender, ¿vale? Es muy sencillo, es el caso de que esto sea tal, entonces se produce esto, entonces tú le sumas tanto, le haces no sé qué, no sé cuánto, entonces haces una recursividad o lo que sea, ¿vale? Eso tienes que hacerlo en tu cabeza y tienes que mirarlo en papel y hacerlo. Eso sirve para cualquier lenguaje de programación. Pero el problema es configurar los puñeteros programas estos de los cojones y saber la sentencia que se utiliza para hacer lo que tú quieres hacer. Ese es el problema que yo encuentro. Entonces, el tema es que lo he averiguado y lo quiero enseñar. Entonces voy a continuar en inglés. Okay, so I continue in English. Okay, once you have that, you have to download the SDK, because without that you cannot program anything. Of course, you could start from this. With C++, it's a program that already is not very used. It's very old programming. It's very old program. But you can do a operation system with this. With C++, you can do operation system. It's very robust. It's very strong. But it's very strong because it goes to the deep of the programming, of the deep of the 0, 1. It transforms all the things into machine code. Okay, machine code is all formed with zeros and ones, nothing else. And this is the one that does it. So when you program in C++, everything is going to be with better performance, better FPS, and better things. You can go to XPlane and program in Lua, for example, but with Lua it has to go to read the scripts, transform it into machine code, and then execute it. You have to do three things. With C++, you just already have converted, so you take out those things, those two things. So you only have to make it. That's all. Okay. Hello, Trixmod. Hello, welcome. So, what we need to do, we need to go to the. Let me see. You go to the SDK, XPlane, and here you download the XPlane plugin SDK, get the files you need to start development plugins here. Okay, and this is the one. This is for Linux, this is for Mac, older builds, but I think it comes all with this. It's SDK for Windows, Linux, and Mac. You click it and you have it. Download it. Okay, and you have an SDK. Okay, with these things you can read it or whatever. Okay, now you unzip this into a folder that any folder, but I recommend you to go to your documents. I have this one. I think I have it this here. Yes, it's here. Okay. Uncompress it here. Okay, so we can close this one, and this is the same that we have here, but this folder I will show you with programming that I don't know how to do it from zero, but I have it, and I will show you how to, because you will need to copy these ones. I'm not going to share with you. You will need to type them, but they are not very long because they are 1K, 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 1K. Okay. So with these ones, you will need the libraries for Windows. In this case, it's a 64. The headers, these ones, and these ones, and these ones. There are programs that let you get inside of XPlane. For example, get inside of data refs, access, for example, to access all the data refs, for access the camera, definition, displays, graphics, etc. And I know only how to use maybe this one or maybe another one, or just not so many. Okay, but that is the ones that you have to access. And in the plugins here, there are other things that I don't understand. But even if I don't understand it, that I will be in the future, maybe with your help or just making plugins, then I will do better things and I will say, oh my god, what I did this here. Once you have that here, then you can create start making your projects, but you don't have to create them. Codeblocks is going to make them. Okay. Another thing you have to download for making the thing that is working, for knowing that everything is working in XPlane, is this. You go here back and you go to downloads. I think it's here, or library. I don't know if it's library. No. Let me see, and I will no. Samples. I think there are samples, sample code, testing plugin, downloads. I think this is the one, the library. And let me see, sample code here. And as you may see, it's not easy at all. Let's going to choose this one for now. Sample code. Yes, that's right. Okay, so do it again. You go to library. You go to sample code. You go to sample code. See sample code. I would go to these ones, but I'm going to choose this one because I know that it's working. Then I would go to Hello World. Hello World is the programming that starts everyone starting with programming, but this is in C, not C++. So we need the C++, and here it says download Hello World as project, Xcode or newer, 32 and 64. This is the one we want. So we download it. As you can see, I downloaded already, and here we have it. And we apart here. Okay, it's open, and we don't need anything more. Now, muy buenas, César Romero. Now we need to create a project, a new project. Okay, we can do it from here. Okay, we can do it from here. I do it from here. Recent project. Now we create a new project. And then start to, oh my god, what I choose here, my god. Okay, you can choose a lot of things. Maybe this is for programming in graphics, I don't know. This is for DLL, that is the one that we should choose, but we are going to choose this one. Okay, a lot of things, Fortran, blah 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 blah. This is another language, and these things I don't know anything about them. And you start, oh my god, what I'm going to choose. You choose this one, console application, because these are applications that are you going to make in your own computer. Okay, so you go, you say okay, next one, you say in C on C++, and then you give a name, and that name is the one that is going to appear here. In this case, we're going to call it, for example, video program. Okay, video program. You say where do you have it. In this case, it's already selected. It's in the documents, Codeblocks, projects. Okay, proyectos in Spanish. And then here was my first mistake. I call it this CPP, Instead, I rename it here CPP instead of CBP. But that is wrong, because if I make it, it will be okay. It will appear with something you will see here. But then when I load it, everything is lost. So leave it as CBP, video program. Okay? Next. And then here we have different compilers. Visual C, if you have already installed it, you can use Visual C++, 2010, blah 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 blah. Just leave it the one that it comes. You don't touch anything here. Okay? Finish. And it's created. And here is created the new video program that if you get inside, you will see a main CPP and the CBP. This is the needed for loading this thing. So if you close it, you open again, and because you made it CBP, if it was changed to CPP, won't load it. You open recent project, video program, and here it is. If you don't put that CBP and you change to CPP, then won't appear this one and only appear a file. Okay? Bueno, fustero, pues macho, luego me enseñas tú a mí. Y luego te lo ves en directo y me dices las cosas tal y cual. O cuando solicite información, mejor cuando yo solicite ayuda, ¿vale? Que serán varias veces. Okay, so we have the main. Already it creates for you, when you create it, it creates a main. And this is the normal first program you make in programming. And it made it for you. Okay, so it says include eStream using. You don't know anything of that, or if you already program, you know everything of that. But if you don't know anything of that, don't worry. We don't know things. I will explain it. Okay. For now, I'm not going to explain anything. I select all of this and remove it. Okay. And now I come to my Hello World code page. Okay. Extract it outside. And open with this. I recommend installing this, the Notepad++. Okay, it's like a editor with programming capabilities. Okay, so here we have, as you can see, device. It's not a compiler, but it's maybe it can compile. I don't know if you have the possibility of compile something. Okay, and you select everything. Control A to select, Control C to copy. Here, Control V. And there it is. It's a very complicated program. As you may see, the hello world from one to the other is much more complicated. I'm not going to explain how this is doing this stuff. I don't know. I truly don't know. As I said, I don't know a lot of things of C++, but I will teach you how to make data arrays if you want to use them. Okay, these are in the grays, depends of the compiler, different colors, it's comments, and that is very good. If we want to learn how to do things, here they say how to do them. Okay, I'm not going to get inside of this. What we need is this program to let it make working. Okay. Vale, Miguel Delgado. Vale, de acuerdo. So, por ahora no necesito mucho porque son 4 cosas las que hago, ya veréis. Pero bueno, necesitaré tu ayuda, eso seguro. Vuestra ayuda. Okay, so we have that thing and we save it. And here, because there are several programs, we save in several ways. Here we save like that, and then we, in this project, this is the project, with right mouse click we save project. Okay, so everything is saved. Okay, if we compile this the first time, let's compile now. I want to compile it to see what happened, because I don't know what happened. I'm going to clean it. I will explain about cleaning because that is also another thing. Okay, here it says there is an error. Okay, this error, this kind of errors, when there are 2 kinds of errors you can, well, the errors that I discovered. There are 2 kinds of errors that you can see. If appears a red box here in the compiler, it means there is something about the program. If it says here, then it's an error about the compiler itself, not the program. So something is not well configured. We are going to configure it. Okay? We go here. You have to configure in each project you make it. You go here, and with mouse click button, you go in build options. In build options, you select the release, not the debug, the release, and you select the compiler that you want. In this case, this is good. We are not going to do anything more. Okay, and we put it here in release. Release, it means release, and debug is for testing. Okay, so we put in release. Save it, right mouse button, every time we change something, save it. Okay, now again, right mouse button, properties, and here we say, here, build targets, very intuitive. Release, very intuitive. I'm saying it's not intuitive. Console application, dynamic library. You see, it changed from console application X to make an X to dynamic library, a DLL. Okay, and we change this to, it's going to be released inside a folder that it was called. You see here the video program create two files here, two folders here created. It's going to be here, and in debug not, because it's going to be release. It's going to create another one when we compile. So we have to create a name that is, in this case is this one, but for making work in XPlane it has to be this. But I don't know how to make in Codeblocks to put this extension. We will rename it. Even if I put that, it will rename it to this one, DLL. So we say that. We check out that is okay. Okay. And in release, dynamic library. Okay. And it's okay. It's perfect. In debug is another thing, because in console application, but in release, that is the one that we are compiling. These are the compiling options. We put like that. Okay, perfect. Now, save it again. Save it again. We're trying to build it. And now, you see, because of that stupid thing, that it didn't say anything, wasn't saying anything about, no! Your error is that you are trying to compile in X. No. It says the same error for every kind of problem you can have. So now we have terminated a program that, as you can see, it's created release, and here is our plugin that is 10K. We have this plugin already. Okay? If you do that in your computer, right now you are following, you will have a lot of errors. And you say, why I'm having errors if Javier is showing me that he's not having errors? Okay, this took me maybe yesterday or past yesterday something like 14-16 hours to reach the point where I could do it. Well, not 16 hours, less time, but I don't know, a lot of hours. Okay, because this is very intuitive. This is very intuitive. It's intuitive until the end of the world is a path of flowers that is in front of you. It's in front of you is a path of flowers that you go and you just compile, and that is all. Okay, so we have it. We say great. No, you are making the same steps and you are not having great. You are having a lot of mistakes here, a lot of problems, and you say, my God, it's not compiling. Okay, so what we do, what we have to do? Well, first of all, I have everything set up already here for making this stuff. I'm going to teach you what you have to do to make this stuff. Okay, to make it good. As I showed you in the beginning of the video, there is a video showing in Visual Studio. You want to use Visual Studio and how to do it. Okay, but there are similar things that they are not too much, but it's very intuitive, and they are very intuitive, and you have to make it in 5 minutes. So I think this video deserves a donation. In this case, I'm asking a donation. Yes, because this will save you a lot of time, and time is, you can recover the time. Never you cannot recover the time. The time goes away. And all the time that I'm showing you here will give you a lot of time for you. So I'm asking for a donation. Okay, this is for making mad. Truly, this is. Of course, it's like I don't know if it's like starting maybe 3D at the beginning, but 3D is more intuitive because you see a button that it says, okay, you want to extrude something, you want to extend. There is a stand button, something you can go there. You know that is there. Something is making wrong, but it's there. You make a render. You want to make a render. There's a button of render. Oh my God! It says render. You can render. Oh, it made something. It's wrong, but it's going there. But here you don't know where to go. So okay, we have made this that it was very intuitive. These build options and these build properties, very intuitive. And then we have to do it because this is for each project, but at least there is something you have to do once because it can be done in the full projects, and this is in the settings. Okay. In Visual Studio there was all the options here. And I was searching here in properties, and I say, oh, why I don't find all these things? Because here are very intuitive things. So we go here, and we go to compiler. Okay, great. We go to compiler. Intuitive as hell. You have a lot of things here. That if you start, you say, oh my God, I'm going to play a video game because that is the thing I can do and I don't understand anything of this. Okay? So, here we have the compiler that we have. But even if you put it here as default, it doesn't matter if you program with default because it's not going to compile with that one. It's going to compile with the one you have here. Okay? But that is also intuitive. So okay. I think that the devs is the easiest program to program in XPlane, and he has own compiler. And this also has own compiler. Fustero also has the own compiler. It has also the 332 compiler already set inside. But you have to know that. Okay. Once you know, and truly, once you know how to do this, this is intuitive because everything you have to be done. If yesterday it took me one day or one morning to configure everything, that was because I already configured Visual C++. So configuring that, you know that you have to do several things, and you try to follow several things. And luckily, I had the same mistakes when you try to compile it. You follow the video, the video of the compiling, the configuring the Visual C++. Then when you follow the procedures in different positions, then you see the same errors, so you say, oh my God, at least I have the same errors because I have different errors. I don't know how to do it. Okay. So here are the things that you have to do. First of all, we have several tabs here and several sub-tabs. We don't go here because I don't know anything of that. Okay. So here you don't have to touch anything of this. In the linker, yes, you have to do that something, and the things you have to do is, if I edit, I remember, it's the SDK. You have to add the libraries of the SDK. In the video it makes different steps, but I'm going to go one by one, so you have to copy. You don't have to understand anything. You have to copy what is done here. So you just, here you won't have anything, all blank. You have to add, you have to go here, you have to go to the projects that you have in documents, in the Codeblocks projects, these ones, and the libraries. Very intuitive because it's linked libraries. And you go in here and you select all of this, and you open. And once you open here, they will appear here as these ones. Okay? So you have the libraries. These libraries are for 62 and 32, so you will need the 4 of them. Okay? Once you do that, okay, you copy these lines. Don't tell me why. forget about these lines. Don't copy, because these are a library that still I don't know what is this for. I think these are for graphical. STL are the graphical libraries, but you don't need it for now. I will teach you later how to install them if you want. Okay, so you can, well, copy them if you want, but I don't know if you have to install it already, because maybe it gives you an error. Okay, but here what it says is the bar, not the bar, the line esta. This is the LMINGW32 slash this one, not the slash the one. This is an L, not capital letter. Capital letters like SDL2 main in not capital letter. This is important. The capital and non-capital letters, of course, very intuitive. The guion, the minus, L not capital letter, SDL capital letters, D space minus L SDL underscore image not capital letter, the same L little L STL mixer L net. That's things you have to put it. Very intuitive. Okay. Now search the directories. Once you have done this, you press OK. You can press OK, and then you come here, the compiler, and you check out again. Search the stories. Well, here in other compilers, yes, of course, very intuitive. Also this one. When you compile, I'm in Windows. Oh my God! And I compile it, and I say no, it's not compiling, because you have to put me that it doesn't say anything. Of course, you have to compile in Windows, but I'm in Windows. Why do I have to put that I'm compiling in Windows? You have to do it, okay? Because it's stupid. And then in this one, in the first one, you have to define this. So you copy this one. This is the first line they teach you to put. IVN equal to 1. But copy all these ones, because you will need them to don't have errors. So all in capital letters, Win32 underscore debug underscore Windows underscore MVCS underscore USRDLL SimData underscore sports CMAX underscore sports IVN equal 1 XPLM. This is important for explain 200 equal 1 2001 equal 1, and maybe 215, because I have the 15. I don't know what is the SDK already, so maybe I would need to put this to make it ready. I don't know if I go to the projects, I'm here, which is the name of the SDK. The release is the 113, so maybe I should put here 213. I don't know. That is something we will discover, okay? Because my programming is very basic, and then I don't need them. Okay, so you need to put those things. How do you find these things? Okay, you have the error, you put in Google this error, and somebody miraculously says, you have to put these things. Not here, of course, they don't say here, because it usually says in another program. So you have to find where to put these things. So you said, when you know you have to put these things, you have to look for where you have to put in Codeblocks. So you put Codeblocks IVM equal to 1. Where do I put it? And this somebody says, here in defines. Okay, so you put it here in defines, and you can continue. You compile and you say, oh my God, I jumped over this error. I can continue. Okay. Fat boy, good morning, Javier and followers of the channel. The project, new project in programming? No, just programming, not the new project. This is just for programming. Buenas, this is Max. Okay, so once you do that, you get okay, you can continue to the next one. And the next one is the linker that I showed you already. Don't have any subtabs. Search directories. Yes, you have to do these things. Again, you have to add them. Okay, you won't have this one still because you don't have this library. Okay, but you will need to add these two things. And how do you add them? Very easily. You go again here, you go to the SDK, to the projects here, video programming SDK, okay, SDK, and that is important because it has to be in the same level of the main projects. That way every project can pick up the SDK, so you don't have to be every project doing this stuff. Okay, so you pick up, for example, the SDK. It says here the SDK, ch headers, widgets, and then you select it. Okay, because it's not going to select files, it's going to select folders. So you select this one, press accept, and it will appear one. Then you make this one, go this one, SDK, see headers, this one, select it. And even I will add the wrappers as I did in this one. Don't hurt anybody, and I think it's good. Okay, so you have that, you press OK, you have all of them. What you are doing here with this stuff is you are saying the compiler that you are going to use the SDK with this and this. Okay, these are the SDK useful for, and you have to say the compiler that when you are compiling and you are making a function that is calling something of the SDK, you have to search for these directories. Okay, because here they are not going to be. You are going to say here, if I say, for example, okay, in the program I want to I have this function XPLM data access H, and I write it here. That function is calling to the function inside XPlane for the data refs, okay, for searching the data refs. If I don't tell the compiler where it is, it will give me an error, and we say, I don't find this, where is this? And you have to say, okay, search when you don't know in these directories. And that is what I'm saying here. Simple, but not intuitive, okay? Ok. ¿Terminaste el 16? Pues ya mostrarás. Toolchains. Toolchains, we are not going to touch anything about that. We will touch them when we want to compile in 64. Right now, the compiler we have, that is here, that is included inside Codeblocks, it's for 32, but it's not 64. You will see how easy it is to compile a plugin in 64. So when somebody say I'm going to charge you because I have to compile my plugins to 64 to make them working, then they are stealing your money. If I did it, that I don't know how to do it, then say, no, man, you give me the plugin in 64 because it's very easy. I don't know so much things of programming. Maybe they have to add several lines to make them compatible with 64, okay? Maybe they have to manage several little things, but little things, not huge programming, okay? Once you do that, I'm going to copy here, and I will see later, because right now I cannot see it. Okay, so for example here. Okay. Now somebody sharing me with a video. I'm going to put it here. Okay. Once you do that, for now we are going to leave it like that. They are not custom levels, they are not built, you have to touch anything, and you don't have to touch anything. For sure this will be very easy and very intuitive things to put here inside when I find a problem. Okay, once you do this, once you have done this, I'm trying to see that everything is okay. For example, this is the linker, this is the one, we set up this one, we don't have to do this anything here, we have to define this here, you have to copy, you stop the video and you copy. Here the linker, we have to add this stuff that are the library, so you're selecting the SDK, the 4 files that are libs here, and you copy this line if you want, but for now not. Leave it blank because you don't have the SDL and we are not going to need it, so leave it blank, but in the future if you need to put it, then you will need it. Okay, if you program something in graphics, but I don't know how to program anything in graphics, I would love to do it. This SDL comes from this stuff also. These are libraries for graphical that I follow a video and just install it because I said, okay, I'm going to install them in case I need them for future. Thinking that I will jump a failure that you will see it's in a OpenGL library, and then you don't have anything here, and you don't have anything here, anything more. Okay, here in the linker, okay, in the linker, yes, in the linker, I just added again here the ones that you have here. In the linker, I added again. It wasn't necessary, but I add them. Okay, the SDL don't do it because it's the ones I told you before, these ones. But yes, do these ones. It's not necessary, but I just added in case we need it, because this is very intuitive. I don't know if they are going to jump an error about that. Once you do that, you press OK. I'm going to press cancel because maybe I changed something. I don't want to be mad about that. Okay, and once you do that, then you can compile. And when you compile and you compile again, you say here, target is up to date, nothing to be done. And you say, wow, why? Why don't you compile? And the main reason, because it doesn't say anything, because it says target is up to date, nothing to be done. Of course, no, nothing to be done. Yes. Until you notice that in the project that we have already here is because there is something already. So if we remove it and we compile, we have again the program is created again, the DLL. So we press again, it says something like that. But there I had another problem that here in the OGG, this one of the programs stacked, I don't know, create these lines, create these things for internal, I don't know, compiling. So it stacks. So I was removing this one and wasn't compiling and giving me an error, and I was, oh my god, what is happening here? So what you have to do instead of removing that is build clean it. So you go here, you see it's removed from here automatically, and it's removed from here, this program also. So now you can compile, and it's compiled. Okay, so we're going right now. We can try it to test it. Okay, we are going to test it. Okay, that is something we would like to do. Okay, because I don't know if XPlane 11 and there is no option. I don't see any option to load in 32. I'm going to load with okay, the Steam version that I have, the Steam version of XPlane 10, very basic one. I'm going to put it here and I will execute it. But before executing it, loading it, we have to pick up this one, change it to XPL. If not, it's not going to load it. I think it's not going to load it, but it has to call Win. Mac for Macintosh and Lin for Linux. Okay, in this case we are in Windows, Mac for Macintosh, Win for Linux. And when we go wait a moment, I have to select the juegos, Steam apps, come on, this one. Okay, when I have the XPlane version of the Steam apps, okay, we can go here No. Output? No. Output, no. It's resources, plugins. If we copy this plugin here, it will work for every plane. Well, we don't want that. We want to make it copy, made it working for a plane. I'm going to show you how to do that. Well, if you want to work in every XPlane, you have to do that. You have to copy here, okay? But we want to make it in only a plane. So we go to the airplane, any plane that you want, okay? We go to the general aviation, and I did it with the Cirrus the Jet, okay? I did already testing with the Cirrus the Jet. We go to this one, okay? This one, the default Cessna. And as you can see, there is no plugin. In XPlane 11 there is a plugin, okay? But in this one there is no plugin loading with it. Maybe it's inside of the, I don't know, inside of the, so I'm not going to know if I'm going to choose this one. Okay, I'm going to choose this one. And then you have to create a plugins folder. When you have something in each plane that is calling the same as the other resources that you have, because all these folders are in resources. If you go here, as you can see in resources, you have the plugins, but you have also bitmaps, and you have also maybe, for example, I don't know what it was. It was here, cockpit. Where is cockpit? I don't know what it was. Output, no. Custom data, custom instructions, output, no. I think it's here, but bitmaps. I think it's bitmap cockpit. That's right. Okay. You can see here that you have the bitmap cockpits, and inside the cockpit you have all the buttons and all the things and all the graphical stuff that are picking from default XPlane. But you can define your own ones. So you want to define your own ones, you have to go to the plane and put a cockpit, and you put your modified bitmaps here. So instead of going to the default one in XPlane, is going to pick up these ones. The same happens with the plugins. If I put a plugin, it's not going to go to the default plugins. It's going to go to the default plugins, it's going to load the plugins for the default plugins, but it's also going to load this one only for these ones. And we create a folder. That is something interesting because I always did this way. Systems. I think it's systems. Let me check out with the other one. Yeah, systems. But I think it can be called anything. I have to test this, and I want to do an example later, and I want to do something interesting. I want to learn something with these videos, so for myself. So you have the Cessna, you have the plugins, you have the systems, and now you have to create two plugins, two folders. One is called 32, and the other one it's called 64. And then in the 32, because this is a 32, we put this, move it here. So we have a blank that is 64, that is not compatible with 64 bits, and this white that is with this plugin. This plugin, what it does is say hello world in a Windows, and when you press that window, it says I'm a plugin. That is the simple thing that it does. It's a lot of programming, as you may see here. Even it says here, in a place it says now create a window, we pass the rectangle on left, top, right buttons, blah 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 blah. It says there will be a place where it says I create hello world, blah blah blah, and it says when I click it will say that I'm a plugin. I don't know. For example, if we look for example world, oh no, it's not located here. Not located. That's why. This is the string copy. This one, hello world, and this is the other one, a plugin. I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to read it, and even I don't. This plugin also it only works for me to see that everything is working correctly. And now we are going to start with with the play, and we are going to load it in 32 because we needed to load it in 32. This is a 32 program. Venga, yo solo desma. And we go here, and we have our mentor. I have to convert into XPlane, and we go to Tenerife Sur, because it only has water. Well, I think I have everything on water. This is just for testing. And then I'm going to General Aviation. No, fighters no. General Aviation, Cessna. And thankfully, if everything goes well, it will make the plugin working. Say there is no water. And here is the plugin. Here's the plugin. Here says hello world. I press it, I'm a plugin. Every time I press it, I'm a plugin. It's working. We have our first program plugin for XPlane working, compiled by us. That is important because if you want to create plugin, you have to compile it you. So this was a jumping in the sky. It was wow! I made it. Even every programmer says this is stupid. Okay, no, it's not stupid. It's a big success. Okay, so you have this, but the problem is that now you're lucky. The developers of Prepare are lucky because they only have 32 bits, but now we are 64, and 32 is less important than 62. So this came a lot of time consuming that it took me a lot to compile in 64 because Codeblocks doesn't have the compiler in 64. No man, it doesn't have the compiler in 64. No. Because if we load, I'm going to show you, if we load a different plane like this one, for example, it's not going to load the plugin because it's not set, that plugin. You see, there's no plugin here, there's no plugin here, nothing. Okay, we switch it off. If we load it, if we run the same plane that the Cessna in 64 version, it won't load it. Okay, we are going to do it. If you don't trust me, we're going to do it. Okay, we load it in 64. Even if we want, okay, we are going to do this stupid thing. Control Z, Control V. Okay, I'm going to copy the same plugin inside the 64 version. Okay, load it in XPlane. And we go for this one. Okay. As you may see, nothing there. There is nothing. In 64, there is nothing. So we switch it off. Okay. It would load it in. It would be XPlane 11 in 32. It would load it. It would work. So what we have to do now? Okay. Very intuitive. Okay. You have this program. You have programmed it yourself. We didn't, but it's for testing. We want to compile in 64 version, and it has to be a different compiler. So you go here and you say, okay, there has to be a compiler here. When you start Visual Studio, yes, it has an option to compile in 64. It says here in something like this. It has something like this, and instead of saying debug and release, it says something like 86 for 32 per 64, and you select 64, and then you compile it, and everything is okay. It's easier. But in this case, not. In this case, you want to go here and you say, okay, compiler. We're going to find a compiler that is 64. Oh my god, there is no compiler 64. What is this? Because all of this stuff are not included. Only this one is included. Okay. So as you may see here, I have the 64 compiler already set, but this is not easy. What you have to do is this. You have this compiler that is the default one. you copy it. Okay, I'm not going to cancel. Okay, you copy it and you give a name. You give a name, the name that you want. Compile 64, for example. Okay, press OK. I'm going to press cancel, and then you will have this stuff, the same, with this new compiler that you have to change into this. Okay, to change them, because this is the important you have to see. In this case, I name it CD64 compiler. I don't know why I put such stupid things. Maybe because I thought that it was going to be below this one, putting the same name just below this one, but it's not. It put at the end. The new ones, the copies, put at the end of this. Okay. So just when you select it, you have to change these lines, and you have to select the install directory of that compiler. But this doesn't say anyone what you have to do. So again, very intuitive. You have to look to the miracle of the world that is Google and all the evil things that it has, because Google is evil also. But it gives you a lot of things. So usually when you try to do these things, I'm going to show you how I discovered this. I said, okay, I want to Codeblocks, compile. You see, there was my sentence I was searching, compile in 64. And you say, okay, compile 64 and code, how to, blah, blah, blah. And you say, okay, I want to compile, blah, blah, blah. I'm desperate, I want to compile, and say, okay, I'm trying to work, that's okay. And there are very useful people that say, it's very easy, you have to download the compiler that is 64. Okay, but where hell is the compiler 64? You say, you have to look a lot of places. You have to look here. Okay, no, here it doesn't say anyone. Here, where is the hell of the fucking... Wow! I don't know. Codeblocks, where is the 64? Nobody tell me. Here there is no installer. You put a lot of energy finding where is the things. And what you have to look for is the magic words. I think it was this one, is Ming. There is a free compiler, 64. And then you go here. And there it is. There it is. It's a free compiler that is 64. You can download it. You download it. And then it comes here also the intuitive things. These are Linux things, the Linux stuff, okay? But you say, which one I download? Tell me please, I want to die. Which one I downloaded? And this is the one, okay? You may think, okay, I'm going to download it here. Okay, okay, so you may think, okay, I don't know where to download it. Here, Windows. You can see Windows. I don't know which is this one. So even you will try to find it here. It's not here. It's here. And here you go to SourceForge, and then you have this one, because even if you have these ones also, I don't know why they put these three things as the top 3 compilers. Okay, and this is the one, and you install it. You just install it, and you install it in a place that you can choose it, whatever. The best thing is to install it where is the Codeblocks installed. In my case, Codeblocks was installed in Archivo de Programa 86, Codeblocks, blah 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 blah, and you install it in Codeblocks in the same where I install it, Codeblocks, and I install it here. I put this name, okay. As you can see, I name it this way. This doesn't appear when you install Codeblocks. This doesn't exist. I create these ones, min GW. It would be very nice if the people of Codeblocks would include the 64 already in the, because they are including the 31 that is the same, but they are not including. Okay, so so you put here this one, the 64. You create it and you install it here, and you give the installer, you create this one, and it's going to install it, all of these things that you can uninstall it, but this is the important one, and this is the thing you copy, you have to put here. It's the same. You see, it's program files, Codeblocks, blah 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 blah, and you save that one. And then when you save that one, you have, because I was selecting different, the same this 164, but it didn't work. Sí, es lo que me dijiste al principio, sí. No, este no lo incluye. 64 no lo incluye. Dime dónde lo incluye. ¿Dónde? ¿Dónde? ¿Dónde lo incluye? Que yo sepa no lo incluye. ¿Dónde? Porque este es 32 bits. 32 bits. Este es 32 bits. Es el único que incluye. Si te vas por aquí, Microsoft Visual C, Visual C, Visual C, Visual C, tal, 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 tal. Puede ser que me equivoque, ¿eh? ¿Dónde está? A la hora de bajarte el installer. A ver. Como no sea esto, pero no pone nada de 64. Somebody says that this compiler is already set in the default one, but I don't see it, because that's the one that I show you is in the 364, and it says here in the installer it says that it is the 64 here, but I don't see it. I don't know if I'm replaying to me. I don't know if these ones include the 64. If it does, great for you. You only have to select it and everything like that. But if it doesn't, then you have to do what I'm doing. Of course, I would like to be shown that way, but anyway. You select it, okay? You select it again. You have put the name here where it is, and then you select these ones, intuitive again, and you have to select the same names that here was. It's going to be, as you can see, it's min x g++, g++, r, winres, y make. Okay, you select the same, but these ones. You go here and you say what it was here. It was a GCC. You have to find a GCC, and this is the GCC. You select this one and say open. I'm not going to change it. G++ is in the other case is min G. It was only this, I think it was set. Okay. Okay. So you select the other one that is min G++. This one, and you say open, and it's going to change all of that. And you have to leave it like this. Okay. You select them and you leave them like that. Okay, but in this case I don't find any relation to make the plugin because this is for making X's. Okay, but in this case we don't need to make an X because we make the library a DLL. But you will see that John Bansgar. Hello, as a programmer, I will suggest to use Visual Studio 2017 Community. It's free. Yes, I know it's community is free. I already installed it and I have it in another computer. and I already used it several years ago, Visual Studio, as I explained it in the beginning of the video. Sorry, because you didn't were in the beginning of the video. I explained why I choose Codeblocks. The main reason is because when you install Visual Studio Community, it's about something like 11 gigabytes of information that I cannot put inside of my computer. I know that it's easier because all the things and libraries are inside, but there are a lot of libraries with my little knowledge of programming that is very little. I cannot use that one. When I was using Visual Studio C++ Express 2010, there was much less things to install. Now this has been incredible big. Even if you install the Express version, that already tried to install the Express version, is 10 gigabytes or one less gigabyte Express. So that is the reason I'm doing this. The second reason is because this is multi-platform. So it's for Linux, for Macintosh, etc., etc., etc. So it will be easier to understand one is from one to another. As I said at the beginning, I'm not a programmer. I'm just maybe have the knowledge of programming in C++ of a baby of 2 months when he starts to speak. So blah 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 da 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 da. As I explained, this is not intuitive at all. Not intuitive, nothing at all. What I'm showing here is the people to use it, as there are no other programmer that has done it before. Programmers don't want to show these things. I don't know why, but there is only one video of 7 years ago that explains how to configure only. That is the thing that I'm doing here. How to configure Visual C++ 2010 for programming in XPlane, and totally it's not intuitive at all. And with that video a long time ago, I didn't use it, but with a lot of forum searching and things like that, I managed to do that. Because every time I ask, beg, please tell me, how do I configure this? How do I make a DataRef, a custom DataRef? Even inside of Laminar. I was inside of Laminar and I said, Ben, please, or please, can you tell me how to do that plugin? Nobody told me. Yeah, you have to do that. But only in test. That is totally different when you have to do it. Of course, I understand because it's very complicated. But it's something like I never saw a video of a person doing this. And I said, enough is enough. And I'm going to show it. Even if I don't know how to do it, I'm not a programmer, I'm going to show you, the people, how to do it. And that is what I'm doing. Yes, installation size is huge in all the Express versions, but that changed with 2017. I don't know 2017. How many gigabytes are 2017? Because I didn't try the 2000. There is a release candidate, but I didn't try. Of course, I didn't try. Even seeing the 2015, it was 11 gigabytes. I didn't try because even if you install it, then to uninstall it is a mess. You have to use a program made by somebody that auto runs inside like a batch to install the things, because it's incredible bad. It's like a virus. Okay, so we're going to continue. As I said, I want you people to teach me how to do the things. Right now I'm not asking how to do the things, okay? When I ask, I will need your help, and I will say, okay, I need to do this because I'm having an error. Can you help me? And that is installation is very quick. Okay, I will do it in my other computer to check out if it's very quick or not. Okay, for now I'm doing this. Okay, once you do that, we are going to press cancel because I don't do anything more. Okay, I leave it these ones that I had in the 32. I'm not going to use it because it's going to be a dynamic library. So I can press cancel. In this case it was okay. And now if you can tell me the actual size, it will be very interesting. Yes, Codeblocks is very light, and that is something I like because I don't have too many space in my computer to put a lot of things. I need the space. Okay, so once we have that, we can now program. Because in compiling 64 to 62 version. And in Visual C++, you have an option here to compile. It says port 64. Okay. In this case, not. This case is very intuitive. You go to the compiler here, and even if you say here, okay, make this one and make this set as default, it won't compile in 64. No, man. So you leave it like that, and you come here, right mouse button, build options, and then here you have to change it to this one. You press OK, and it will appear an error that I don't know how to fix. Now it will say this thing that you say you change it to compiler, use it for this target. It's recommended that you fully rebuild this target, otherwise linking errors might occur. I say OK. And then it still doesn't say anything. I'm going to save it, and it's going to appear an error. This one. I don't know. Please help me. If you know why is this error, please help me. I can pass this error, but only once. This is C11 plus X. If you find it, you won't find anything. Okay, you've tried to find it in Google, and you won't find anything. I think it's related with the compiler. I say OK, and it let me continue. The problem is, if I make this for this, and I press in the debug to be again that option, then the error will appear me twice, and then it will block and hang on the Codeblocks, and I will not be able to continue. So this is very important. If we want to compile with that error, that it doesn't matter because it's going to work, then it has to be only in the release change. And the other one is debug is the 32, the default one. So we change that one. Okay, and now we have saved it. The good thing I like to make it is to remove everything, because it says, you say, I save it, and it still says that it has something changed. So I say save. Okay, and now I load it again. Load it again, and load the project. In this case was this one, and this gives me the error. If I would change that compiler in the debug and the release, it would give me this error twice, and then the program would hang on. So I said accept, and I can continue. If it would be in debug also, the renderer, it would give me twice the error, and it will be hang on. So I can continue, and now I can compile already. For now, what I do is build, clean, everything is cleaned, and then compile. And then there it is. And then here it is, because in the previous program is in the same place. In Visual Studio it says option for 64 and 32, so you know where it is. So here we have it, and then we have it the same. That is, in this case, you see, it's different size. Well, when I program in Visual Studio, the compiler plugin are bigger, not so much. It's maybe 400Ks, but this is 10Ks. I think it's because it's putting inside dependency libraries that maybe it don't need. Okay, but I say that, and maybe because it has a lot of libraries, it put them inside the plugin. Okay, but in this case, as you can see, this was the 32. I copy this one, the 32 also. I'm going to remove it, and this is different. This is good feeling because it's different, and we're going to put XPL. Say yes, move here, and then we are going to load again XPlane, but in 64 because we have set it. Okay, this is the default Cessna. We created that folders. You know, when we loaded in 64 it didn't load. Now it should load. It's in 64 now, and it should load now, the plugin, and it should work. Okay, I found no scenario. Understood. And here it is. 64, voila, we jump, we say great, we are the big in the world, because we are not programmers, but we succeed to cross this pool of full of grass, big and mad, and we could succeed doing. And we're great, and we can do it. Okay, so we have been 1 hour and a half just to let you know how to compile the things. I'm going to check out my notes to see if there is something missing. Okay, something missing, in case I have to tell you something. But this is all the readings I put in Spanish that I need to set up. Okay, I'm going to leave it for the Spanish people if they want to just copy them, because they are the correct ways to do it. Bajarse Codeblocks, download from here. I have the file already set, download it, instalarlo, dejarlo todo perfecto, instalar un nuevo editor, hacer un nuevo proyecto, console application, la consola no sé qué. Configuramos todo el Codeblocks para que compile bien el programa, compile everything like that, compile tiene por defecto, tal, ponemos estas cosas en el link settings, pestaña en la librería SDK, que lo bajamos antes, bajamos de aquí, director no sé qué, de igual, repitamos todos los botones sobre el proyecto debajo de Workspace, en propiedades dejamos que la plataforma es en Project Setting, tal, así el problema es coger solo Windows. Así, pinchando el botón derecho sobre el proyecto debajo de Workspace. Sí, mira, vamos a ver. Okay, I'm going to here. If we press over this one, properties, we can select the platforms. If we have problems, it's compiling select supported platforms for Windows, Unix, and Mac. Okay, so this is great in Codeblocks, because in Visual C++, the problem we have is that it's only for Windows, but in this case we have for these ones. I suppose you have to compile in a Macintosh and in Linux operating system. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we can do it. Don't know how magic we can do that, but maybe it's great and we can do it. It would be marvelous, but I believe not. So if you want to choose, for example, we have problems and you want to choose only Windows, you select that one, and it's going to be compiled only in Windows. Okay, as I said before, we have to make this as a console application in debug. You can leave it, but in release, that is, we are compiling in release, you have to set up with the library and change this to Win XPL, but the XPL doesn't pick up the option. So we continue this and esto es, ya lo explicaré después. Esto es para hacer data refs y esto necesitaréis tenerlo. Y debemos tener la rueda de entrada amarilla, se genera un win en el para compilar el sitio web. Debemos bajar el compilador gratuito, descarga entrada mucho, vamos a say we have to download it here, the 64 version, but I don't know if the installing downloaded the other option. The Codeblocks has already the 64. It didn't have. I saw it in several forums, and it's nobody says that it did have already in the last version, the 64 version. I don't know. Try it yourself. If you find an option there in the compilers, among all the compilers that is 64, great. But as you can see, when I change to 64, appears that error that I don't know how to overpass. If somebody tell me, I will be thankful for him. Compiler installation directory. Okay, you install here. You put the link. You put blah 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 blah. And then here we have the libraries that I said before, the HDL libraries. That for now we don't need them. But if you want to use them, you have to go to here. That is the problem with Codeblocks, that you have to be downloading one by one everything. But you choose what you downloaded, of course. And here is the libraries, the simple direct media libraries are cross-platform development library designed for proprietary levers, access to audio, keyboard, mouse, joystick, and graphics hardware via OpenGL and DirectX, blah 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 blah. I downloaded this one because I made an include of an OpenGL and it didn't load it, so I thought that it would be able to load it, but I wasn't succeed. As I said, I'm going to put you again how I made that. Once you install it, you download it from here. Okay, you download it from STL 2000, I think, downloads here. Yes, you have here the downloader, source codes here, the zip, okay, for this one, from to binaries, on binaries the 64, the 32. We want to compile in 64 this one, to compile in 32 this one. No, but in this case we need this. You don't have to install this one. You have to install this one because it's for the compiler. So in this case, you download this one, and it's going to be downloaded. But I don't know. I don't want to make them. Okay. So you have the library that you put. I put it in the C. I put it in C. In my what is it? STL here in CSTL, and I put this library that is already set. This one, this one, okay, and these other ones I had them from very intuitive from what it was. These ones. So very intuitive. And you go here, you download this one, Mixer and the net, okay, and you put them in the same. This is the Falcon. Just put them in the same directory as you put the others ones. The C I had before. You see the image, the Mixer and the net. So you select them, you just configure them to compile the compiler, and in the compiler here, in the not here, it was in the linker, you have to set this stuff here with the L. This is L and L, not I, L, capital, low capital letter L, with a space between of them and the minus. And then you, in the search directories, you search for these options. Okay, you search inside of STL, the 2005 x64, blah 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 blah, include STL2, and the image STL2, blah 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 blah, STL2, and also in the linker also. Okay, the 2 lib, the library, and the library, with adding them. Okay, going for the place where you install it. But this is not important because I'm not going to use it. Maybe in the future it's important. Importante. Para compilar a nuevo siempre hacer menú arriba build clean. Always, when you build something, you have to make a build clean, because if not, puede generar errores. Si se pierden los flags del compilador, es decir, once you have a problem, for example, imagine you have a problem here, compiler, you go to the compiler and you don't have this, and this is blank. That happened to me. You have to go to the to the user, your name, appdata, roaming, Codeblocks, share Codeblocks compilers, and remove the file that is called options gd. That way it will generate another one. It's no one won't generate any one, won't appear there, but all the flags will appear again. Okay. The flags are things that you maybe need in the future, because for compiling for 64 you could do this. I just put this thing with this stuff, and it didn't create a 64 version. Okay, but maybe I did something wrong, so maybe it's okay if I do that. Okay, maybe that is okay. Maybe it can compile. I don't know. We can try. I'm going to try, okay, because we're going to try now if we can compile it now. Raigan told me that, and I don't know if it's Arcades. ¿Qué tal? John Bundgar says install only C++ toolset selected is 2.67 gigabytes. Yes, but the Visual Studio is something like the 2 gigabytes in the 2.15 version. The problem comes with the other libraries that install apart from the directory you install it. I don't know, that is important also, and I believe not so much things changed. Okay, I will try to see. It's very easy. You see the starting of your hard drive, what you have, how many gigabytes you have, and what are left. And I was saying that and say, oh my god, what is it telling this thing? Okay, I'm going to try to compile it with this option, but okay, I'm going to compile it here, and I think it's not going to do it, but maybe I'm wrong, and then we can rip off that disgusting error that I have. Okay, so I'm going to build options, going to try to. I'm using this 64 compiler. I install it, but set Raygun that is already has inside. Okay, we're going to set it. We're going to save it, and we're going to do it again, build it, and we're going to set up this to the 64 options to flag it a 64 option target 64. Okay, I think it's not going to make it, but we're going to try. In case it's not working, you know how to. Is the way. Okay, save it, release it, quick it, and then Codeblocks again. Load the project again. No, you see, the project is not. It's not the file. Okay, project, video project. That's right. And then I think I have it. Options. Now the error doesn't appear. It's 32, but I'm saying the flag that is 64. I think it's not going to compile it this way. But anyway, I'm going to check out. Okay, we have here the plugin is going to be removed when I say build clean. No, it's not build clean. Okay, this is the. Okay, this is one here. Okay, it was clean, and then we make it. One error. Sorry, unimplemented 64 memory not compiled in. So I think it's not compiling. Unimplemented 64 modded not compiled in. I don't know. Maybe he says that he has to give something here to compile in 64. I don't know, because when I made the plugins, I had to put something to make 64 plugin, but I don't know exactly. Kike. Anyway, maybe it can do it. The only thing I know how to do it is for now is putting the installing this compiler, the 64 compiler. Okay, I'm going to set up this as usual without this one, save project, and now build clean and compile, and that is okay, and it's compiling the 10K. Okay, I'm going to leave it here because I want to continue. I'm going to continue now. I'm going to continue searching. Right now I'm not going to teach anything. I'm going to work by myself. I'm going to discover new things. I'm going to make an example because I want to make something with the CRJ, not to be included in the final one. It's going to be only used for testing. I'm going to try to teach you how to create data ref, custom data ref, and to read a data ref that already exists. And that is the thing that I know to do it. This has been done a long time ago, so I have to remember a lot of things. And you have to copy, and I don't understand a lot of things, but the way it is done is you copy and you put the logic. You made your logic and then you made it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here so that way YouTube can break the video in separate things, and I'm going to put music in the other one, and maybe we can, well, I'm not going to put music in the second one also, but it's going to be more thinking, more, because it's not planned. This was already said, already done, so I didn't have any mistake. I didn't have to think anything. I think it's good. I think it's enough for you. You can set with this video, and you learning how to set with this video and Codeblocks how to compile a plugin for XPlane. Now we have to make our own plugins, and that is the next video I want to make it. Okay, so see you until now. Thank you. Thumbs up, like it if you like it, subscribe, and in this case I ask for a donation because this saves you a lot of time. Totally. So if you want to program, this is great, and you can donate, and you will make me very happy. Don't donate $1 only. Donate whatever you want. Okay, see you now. In a few moments, I'm going to the toilet. I'm going to the toilet. I'm going to check out things, and now I'm coming back, and we make an example with programming. Ciao, ciao. See you. Nos vemos ahora dentro de poco. Vamos a salir, voy a explicar porque quiero dividir el vídeo y vamos a intentar un plugin de prueba para hacer un data ref y que nos abra la puerta del CRJ que teníamos un nuevo data ref. Vamos a probar, no voy a utilizar esto no se va a utilizar como proyecto del CRJ 200, simplemente lo vamos a utilizar como prueba, ¿vale? Y quiero probar otra cosa, quiero hacer quiero probar a ver si puedo hacer un plugin paralelo, que nunca lo he intentado. Entonces digamos que va a ser todo más pensado, va a haber más introducciones, va a ser más, quizás no va a ser más no va a ser intuitivo, no lo era ya, pero va a ser menos intuitivo, va a ser investigación. Entonces digamos que me meto en harina, nos metemos en harina. Esto quería explicarlo, yo ya lo sabía, me lo podía callar y dice, bueno, vamos a empezar a y ya lo explicaré después. He tardado 1 hora y 45 minutos en explicaros todo esto. Espero que os haya interesado. Os pido los likes, os pido que os guste. Si os gusta mucho más, suscribiros. Y si alguien quiere colaborar para donar, si os pediría donación, en este caso, a los que quieren hacer esto. No a los que no quieren hacerlo. Si no quieren hacerlo, ni le va ni le viene, pues no, evidentemente. Pero a los que quieren, sí, porque es que no se encuentra un puto vídeo, pero así dicho en plata, perdón con la expresión, pero es que no se encuentra un puto vídeo en todo internet de estas cosas. O sea, se encuentra como configurado Codeblocks, pero no tiene nada que ver con Codeblocks con XPlane. Este es el primer vídeo que yo haya encontrado personalmente de Codeblocks, que se haya hecho de Codeblocks, configuración de Codeblocks con respecto a XPlane. Ya es algo. Bueno, señores, un placer. Nos vemos ahora dentro de poco. Likes, gracias.